Hi, I'm immigration attorney Heather Poole. The following is an excerpt from an interview about one of my clients' immigration cases. Trusting an immigration attorney with your case can be scary. There's often so much at stake. The story featured here is just a sample of some of our cases for clients who took the leap and trusted us with their future. These are real comments from real people, but the names have been changed to protect their confidentiality. I hope you find this information helpful and demonstrates that you are not alone in this. And even in some of the toughest circumstances, you may have options, and hope is not lost. Remember, it is extremely important to speak with an immigration attorney about your case before you start it to determine what issues you could face that could result in a denial or even a removal from the United States. For more information about me, stay tuned until the end of the video to learn more about my extensive experience in this area. This is such a great story. A cleaning lady meets a traveling salesman and fall in love. They were the sweetest couple, both had a lot of emotional baggage, had prior bad relationships, both had children from these relationships, and thought they could never trust the opposite sex again after their ex's behavior. Daryl, the U.S. citizen, learned Spanish so he could talk to her, and she began learning English every time he visited her at work. Lupe, a citizen of Mexico, had come to the U.S. years ago and never left because her ex-husband abandoned her with a child, paid no child support, and she had to find a way to support her child, having no one back home to take them in or help them financially. But staying here so long meant that she would trigger the 10-year bar if she left to go to St. Edwards for her interview for her green card based on her new marriage to Daryl. They had to apply for the difficult extreme hardship waiver so she could return to the U.S. with her green card to be with Daryl, who watched her child while she had to patiently wait outside the U.S. for a decision. After her case was quickly approved, Daryl wrote me an amazing email. Here it is.
I met my wife in 2001 and soon fell in love. 6 months later, we were married in Ventura, California. I knew well before we were married that my wife was here undocumented, but thought it would be easy to get her green card since I was a U.S. citizen. Boy, was I wrong. We went to a cut-rate notario trying to save money. Mistake number one. We then went to an immigration attorney in Los Angeles who quoted me $1,000 to take care of the rest of the paperwork we needed. Mistake number two. It turned out we needed a hardship waiver for my wife and would have to travel to El Paso, Texas, and cross the border to the U.S. consulate in Mexico. If everything went okay, my wife would have a green card and return with me. If not, she would have to stay in Mexico for 6 months to a year, waiting for approval. This scared me to death. We had never spent the night apart since we were married. I could not stand the thought of leaving her there. I started reading as much as I could on the internet and was recommended to Heather Poole in Pasadena, California. My wife and I went to see her for a free consultation, and I'm very glad we did. Heather and her assistant went above and beyond to get our necessary papers done within a month, almost unheard of. And off we went to Mexico. We had to spend almost 2 weeks there. First the medical appointment, then the interview, and then the hardship waiver interview. Now, that's what impressed me the most about Heather. Everything that she said would happen happened exactly like she said it would. While staying at the motel and waiting day after day, we met quite a few people and got to talking. I was shocked at how many people were totally unprepared and did not have the documentation they needed. Most of these people went away, very unhappy to say the least. Everything went smoothly for us, and within 1 hour of my wife receiving her new green card, we were back across the border and on our way home. Our lives have changed so much within the last 6 months. My wife has her new Social Security card, driver's license, etc. She now has more ID than I do, and I can honestly say that we owe all of this to Heather. We will never forget how they've helped us. If anyone doubts this, feel free to call me anytime, and I will be glad to tell them. Thanks.
What Daryl says is true and sad about immigrants and their U.S. citizen spouses there to support them, who show up for their immigrant visa interviews and find out that they can't return to the U.S. or that they have to file an extreme hardship waiver because the notario or paralegal or immigration consultant they used, who is not an attorney, never told them about the bar. We often get calls from desperate U.S. citizens still in Mexico after their spouses have received denied immigrant visas, trying to determine if the waiver is still available and what they can do. Often the reality is that the U.S. citizen must return to the U.S. for their home and their job, and must separate from their loved one abroad until the waiver is approved. I am an expert in complex family-based immigration cases and have a 98% approval rate for the past 12 years. I am a nationally published immigration author and frequent public speaker on immigration topics. I regularly train other immigration lawyers on complicated marriage and family immigration cases for the American Immigration Lawyers Association, Federal Bar Association, and national legal education providers. I represent clients all over the U.S., traveling to immigration interviews and deportation proceedings. Visit our website, humanrightsattorney.com, for more in-depth information and articles on complex family immigration issues.